Wholeness, thank you for being here. This is Mark Roman with Muscle Mentality, and this is how to deal with everything, the 30-day challenge. How to deal with everything that a human being experiences on this earth. Now, if you've been enjoying these videos, I please ask you to subscribe, like, and share as many as you can. Get the word out, get the message out, because what we're really talking about is how everyone can benefit from this existence. How everyone can transcend, can expand, can break through. And I don't have all the answers, but I am in the direction of finding those answers. And I am in the direction of sovereignty, of coming to a place where I am sovereign within my own consciousness. And I know that we will all get there as one unified vibration, one unified frequency. So if you'll join me on this journey, I ask that you subscribe, like, share. So yesterday was day 11. And yesterday we talked about sex and partnership, and how two whole beings coming into one generates a massive amount of energy, and how partnership is a catalyst for growth. It gives both wholes the opportunity to reflect on their inner selves and what blockages they might have towards each other, or what judgments they might have within themselves. So you might be able to see now how everything really ties into each other. We've been 11 days and everything is meshed in together, because it's not a lesson that you learn and put down. It's not a lesson that you're tested on, excuse me. It's not a lesson that you're tested on and then you forget the lesson. It's a lesson that you keep, and it builds off of the last one. So these are really, I want you to approach these like classes, because that's really what they are. Is really, I'm trying to get a message out to you, and so you could, I'm teaching it to you, but you're really remembering. You already know all this stuff. I know that you do. You already know that you feel alive and energetic in the moment with your lover, and you feel alive and energetic. But what we're talking about is how to sustain that, and how to sustain that is breaking out of a lot of programming, a lot of judgment, all those systems of programming that separates us from one another. So we're coming back into wholeness of perspective, of not the duality of good and bad, and not the duality of judgment, because we are hardwired to judge things. We have 2 eyes, 2 ears, a nose with 2 nostrils, and we're always trying to divide. That's a bench, that's a tree, that's a light post, and that's what we do in this creation, is divide. But the point between, that point between is wholeness. The point between 2 breaths. The point between the inhale and the exhale. The point between sunlight or daytime and nighttime. It's wholeness, and it exists at all times, and that is your supreme force. That is the force of your supreme being, and you are the supreme being. We're just helping each other remember. So thank you for being here. I appreciate your presence. I appreciate you for tuning in. It's such a blessing that you give me your attention in this world of that's always asking for your attention. So your awareness is grateful. I'm so grateful and honored that you're here. Now today is day 12. So day 12, I want to talk about trusting yourself. Trusting yourself completely. Because like I just said, you're just remembering. You know, even though you think you don't know. Even when you think you don't know, you know. And we're not talking about book smart. We're not talking about learning. Like, that's a knowledge that, I'm talking about the knowing that you exist. The knowing that you know the right thing to do at any time, at any moment. And that you know. And all this knowledge and understanding how to, why don't you understand the church system? Why don't you understand economics and policy and all of these things? I'm not saying book smart isn't right, but what we're talking about is you as a being, you as consciousness, and these are derivatives of consciousness. If consciousness created the economic system, if consciousness created the church, if consciousness created policy, then let's come back to the consciousness. Let's go to the source. And once you get there, trust the source. Trusting yourself completely is so powerful. Affirm it. I trust myself completely. Every day, I trust myself completely. I trust myself completely. And you feel the embodiment. You feel the embodiment. Because trusting yourself is, you're communicating from yourself to yourself, embodying this old idea that's deeply within you that you might have forgotten, because these programs of self-doubt are circulating through your head. It's on cycle, making you psycho. It's on cycle and it's making you insane, and you go through the same cycles thinking something new is about to occur. But you need to trust yourself completely. Trust yourself completely that every single electron in your being is trusting that we are going in the right direction, because it's just a compass. Like, you are walking in the direction of sovereignty. You are sovereign within your own consciousness. You are on the top, the head of the throne within your consciousness. You do not give your power away to anyone. That you are sovereign. And to get there, we trust ourselves completely. Don't you want to stop giving your power away, slaving away at work, giving 40, 60, 80 hours a week to something that is someone else's vision? It's not even yours, but it's your time and your uniqueness. It is you. So trust yourself completely. How do we trust ourselves? When we feel deeply in our hearts with our intuition, that part of us that knows even though there's no reason to know. Like, you know. It's not a mental delusion. It's not light shows. It's not illusion. It's knowing. And you know. But then you don't go with it. You don't trust it. You don't align with it. You're not affirming it. Because you feel that there's not enough facts. There's not enough evidence to back it up. To back up this feeling that you have. But this intuition, this trust, and this knowing, it's coming from the unified field that we all exist within and are all interconnected with. So you are connected to all that is, and you contain a part of the whole inside at all times. And you know. And you know. But you got to remember that you know. So when you know, you trust yourself completely. Affirm it. I trust myself completely. And you feel it radiate. You get chills shivering throughout your body because the cells, the molecules are waking up. You're asleep part of the time. You are awake all the time. You transition from being asleep to awake all the time. Awake all the time. There's no shift in transition, and even when you're asleep, you're awake. And you trust yourself completely, because on this path, the more energy that you generate, it's going to become more and more critical, more and more crucial, more and more essential that energy goes to direct means to your growth, to your ascension, to your transcendence. What we're talking about is muscle mentality, how to deal with everything. But at the base of this is, what is your intention in life? What is your purpose? And we talked about purpose on day 8. What is your purpose? What is your way? What is your purpose for being here in physicality? Do you understand where you came from? Do you understand where you're going? Or understand? And the only way to know where you're going is to know where you came from. A plant doesn't become a tree just because it thinks about being a tree. It remembers that it is the seed. It has the blueprint within it. And so you have the blueprint within your own soul. And it reverberates and vibrates, and it bounces off of every aspect of your being, and your heart is receiving it. Receiving and pulsing and signaling, communicating, transmitting it throughout your whole body, throughout your whole being. It is an instrument, and you are the supreme being. So what we're talking about is, within your own consciousness, are you sovereign? Are you sovereign? Are you at the top? Are you at the holiest of holies? When the kundalini rises up from the coccyx, the base of the spine, through the sediment, through the base of your existence, the more base, the more dense, the more survival-based part of your existence, and wraps around and punctures through the chakras and rises to the base of your skull, to the holiest of holies, and sits atop the throne, you are activated. You are activated, and you are sovereign within your own soul. And what does a sovereign do? What does a sovereign do? Do you remember? Abundance is energy. Day 9. Abundance is energy. You are an energetic being. So an energetic being that knows that all is self, and all that is all is available to yourself, then money is not an issue. If you can't master money, we can't master ascendance, transcension. We can't master, I said those backwards, transcendence and ascension. If we can't master getting to just being able to do what we need to do, if you can't even make the time for your spiritual work, you've been 30 years holding on to a pain since you were 7, and you still can't deal with it because you're working at work all the time, where is the sovereignty? We're talking about soul work. We're talking about spiritual work. How to deal with everything. How to deal with everything. You go to the source of all problems. You go to the source of all solutions. The cure is the poison. It's all from the same, it's duality, so the same thing just is, and we made a judgment and then it splits. So you go back to the source. We go back to the source in meditation. We go back to the source through breath work. But if you don't even have the time to sit down and breathe because you're still thinking about all the things that you need to do, where are we going to go? And then you're going to end up in another cycle for how long? When does it end? The rest of your life? So trusting yourself completely is about trusting your path and trusting your vision and trusting your sense of self and trusting that you are connected to all that is and trusting that you have a potential power that is yet to bloom, is yet to flower, is yet to bud. And you're watering it every day. And you trust yourself in every moment, that every moment is a part of your path and part of your purpose. And you know exactly what you're here to do and you know exactly how you want to maneuver through this reality. So you trust yourself. If you have a thought that felt right and you know that it's aligned with your purpose and it's aligned to a sovereignty, what is the intention? If you are unsure about anything, just question the intention coming from you. Is it egoic in nature? Egoic in is it reinforcing separateness? Or is this wholeness? Is this action, are these words, is my behavior going to serve this path of purpose, the path of sovereignty, of expanding to my highest self, of expanding to my highest intentions, my highest ideals? Because the only way to serve all is to serve yourself first, so that your cup could overflow and you give it to all. Now this is a unique individual ascension. Every ascension is unique. Everyone has their own experiences. Everyone has their own path, their own purpose, their own story. So when you're taking it, you got to be wary about taking advice from other people. And, you know, even myself, I was a sponge, absorbing knowledge. I didn't have, in my experience, direct reflectors of who I wanted to be, so I found it in books. And I delved deep into personal development, and I delved deep into spiritual knowledge and esoteric texts. And I wanted to know more about what is the best way to maneuver here. I need more information. I don't see anybody who I want to become, and I don't know much about myself, so how do I find out more about myself? And I trusted that, even when I didn't trust it, because for a moment there, I felt a little bit crazy. I felt a little bit like, is there something wrong with me? And I was like, why can't I just enjoy the party like everyone else? Why can't I just get drunk, get high, and enjoy and dance and be free like everyone else? Why am I so tightened up? I thought there's something wrong with me. Until I learned that we are all whole. We are all whole. We are all perfect in nature. We are perfectly created for the purpose that we are here for. So I had to release this seeking of external validation and trust my path and trust my purpose and trust that, you know what, Mark, you are really into metaphysics, and that's where you're driven to. That's where you're compelled to go, and you trust that path. I trust this path. You are really compelled for meditation. People call me an old man, an old soul, but I'm just interested in longevity. I'm interested in the eternal. I want to know what's infinite, because I know everything around me is dying. Everything around me decays. So how do I make the most of this in every moment? And I had to trust it. And I started with the body. And even though I was never one who worked out much, I started working out all the time, became a personal trainer, got my bachelor's degree in exercise science. I took it deep. And I trusted it even though I wasn't really familiar with that realm. I played sports all my life, but building the body was something I was unfamiliar with. So I went deep into just these vague notions of this is where I'm compelled to go. But now that I trust it and I know it from experience, I don't know it from the books anymore. I know it beyond the books. I know it from experience. I know it from everything that I've accumulated through these direct eyes, through these direct feelings, these sensory organs, through my consciousness evolving and expanding. How do you know if knowledge works? How do you know if knowledge works? When you grow. When the same things don't bother you anymore. When the same things that were obstacles are just easy now. When you are accumulating money and energy like no other. When you are accumulating opportunities at the exact moment that you need them to occur. Instant manifestation. instantaneous. When you need it, it's there. When you reach for it, it's there. When you need it, it's there. How do you know when you're growing? How do you know when you're growing? When you feel alive and passionate in every moment. When the conversations you have are healing in themselves. When you're connecting with people at a deeper level. But what if you don't trust yourself and you're afraid to tell that person about this thought that you're having that is reflecting back to an earlier moment of childhood and is now reverberating, and you feel the string, the thread, the pattern about how you're living your life in this moment and how you see it walking back. But this person's a stranger, so you don't know if you should say it. But then you miss the moment when this person might reflect back to you something so powerful, so pungent, the aroma so cutting that it releases all the pain. I've had conversations that are so healing, my throat chakra will start opening up and heating up, becoming hot. The warmth burning through, burning off the sediment. The dust is like an old machine starting to warm up again, and it's like you feel the dust start to go, like an old car with the oil crusted up on the top of the engine, and it starts to burn and starts to smell. I could feel myself activating. And I trust it. I trust myself completely. Let's affirm it together. Just 3 times. I trust myself completely. I trust myself completely. I trust myself completely. And breathe. And feel it reverberating. I trust my existence. I trust my path. I trust my purpose. I trust this moment. I appreciate this moment. I trust this moment. And even what we're doing when we close our eyes, we're listening for the vibration. The feeling of trust, the feeling of knowing. Of no discord and consonance within our being. It's no conflict. It's direction, and you're all in. Direction, and you're all in. It's all or nothing, and you jump forward and you thrust forward, because it is literally all or nothing. It's binary code. It's ones and zeros. So it's either you're in unison, you're in harmony, or you're in conflict. You're either harmonious or dissonant. So if you have a purpose in life, but you're second guessing it even a little bit at the subconscious, in that moment, in that quantum moment, in that moment where all realities exist, you are tuning into the reality of I don't know. And think about all the times where you said I don't know. It's not a great place to be. It's a good starting point. We all have a starting point. But once you advance on your path, it's not a necessary vibration to tune into all the time. Remember that you know. Listen in this moment. Come back to the present moment where all realities exist. Do you know why Einstein's work was pivotal for our century, for our time? He found that through simple calculation. He imagined himself sitting astride a train, moving forward at the speed of light. And what he found was when you're approaching the speed of light, the past and the future were in front of you, literally. Left and right, past and future, and the present was in the middle. And as you moved at the speed of light, the present opened up, expanded, dilated, until it swallowed the past and the future. So the only thing that truly exists is the present. Because everything comes from light. If light is the fastest thing that we have, and light is emanating and reflecting and refracted off of all of that we see, and everything is a frequency, a wavelength of light. This orange shirt, the green grass, the brown trees, they're all a different wavelength emanating from the original light. Then light is the universal law of the universe. So if at light speed only present exists, then past and future is an illusion. But what it really is that all realities exist in this moment in time, and our consciousness is like moving through a highlight reel of realities, just shifting through the realities. And I always say we're always shifting. It's what are we shifting to? Because all realities are available to you at all moments, at all times. Expansion means expansion in all directions. That means up and down. That means up, ascending, and descending. That also means left and right, sideways. You can grow in any direction. We are trying to ascend. We're trying to break limits, transcend limitation. So we come to a point of, if you are not knowing and you are tuning into the reality of not knowing, then that's where you are. I just hope you don't stay there for too long. Come back into the knowing state. I trust myself completely. I trust myself completely. I trust myself completely. And the sun came in to say hello for that one moment. And it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful morning. Thank you for being here. I really hope that you subscribe, like, share this message. This message is so powerful, getting out to all around the world. I feel the vibrations in my experience just starting to reverberate and cycle, and I can feel the people in my experience start to wake up and lighten up, and the things that they're telling me is lighting me up and they're making me go further on my path. And I have my hiccups too, and when those hiccups occur, I feel invigorated to deal with them. Invigorated to break any patterns that don't serve us, any old memories still living on in the identity that I create for myself. We break the ego. We break the selfish, separate self. We transcend it. We transcend limitations. This is an old cycle, an old paradigm. We are deliberate creators. Trust it. Trust your path, trust your purpose, and trust that where it leads to is going to be a grand endeavor. Because you'll feel it. You'll feel if you're meant to be here. You'll feel it. Your heart will not lie to you. Your mind may delude you. It is a polar instrument, an instrument of polarity. It sees the good and the bad, but the whole, the heart, it sits in between. And within the heart actually is what's called the tiny space of the heart. The sacred heart, your energetic heart. The Anahata heart chakra has within it a sacred space that's connected to all parts of the universe. And it's connected at a more planetary level, connected to the energetic field, the electromagnetic field of the earth. And each one of us is our own planet with our own electromagnetic field, connecting to one another and emitting and receiving. Trust it. Trust that your energy is affecting your reality. Trust that your energy is affecting the people around you. Trust that your field, that you need it to be clean. Trust that your field is becoming an inherent source of global presence for everyone, of planetary presence, of connectedness, of universal connectedness. Make everyone that you talk to feel connected to you. Make everyone that you talk to feel like a friend, feel like family, feel like your tribe. Everyone is connected, trust it. There's been so many reasons, I'm sure of it through your experience, that despite all the separateness, you've seen how connected we are. I know that you know. I know that you know. I'm just here to help you remember. And you're reminding me in more ways and more facets. There's so many ways and magnitudes to it. And I keep being reminded and amazed about even within myself what kind of judgments I need to release. But it inspires me. Every time you break a bond, you are releasing energy. And you'll find it in chemistry. You break a bond, energy is released. So, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. It's a beautiful morning here in New York. I hope that you just find a day of balanced vibrations. See wholeness in every moment. Release the tendency to judge. At a very deep level, release the tendency to judge, and know that you are always taken care of. You're always sovereign within yourself. You are taking back your energy. You are taking back your sense of self, your sense of self-worth, your sense of knowing that you are connected to all that is, and that all that is available to you if you seek that. So thank you for being here. I'm Mark Roman with Muscle Mentality. I've been your host. Thank you for being here. Wholeness and balanced vibrations. I'll see you tomorrow for day 13. Wholeness.